So, we're back. Welcome back. Good to see you all. Let's
Are we
talk.
muted?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're all open. I have
I mean-
been obsessive about sound for a while now. I promise I got this. So I imagine the Bad Decisions Club minus Kretha and Barnabas absconds immediately to Mirabar. Now
Accurate.
It's at least a couple of hours of flight on broomsticks to Mirabar from where you are. Given the very reasonable assumption that the teleportation circle there has probably been compromised. So before we get there, I would like to open the floor to any conversations or any role play that's going to happen in transit from the Forge of Fury. And yes, you can get out through Nightscale's lair to Mirabar.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Do I get a bag of diamonds?
Yes. Before you go, we will say that you get roll me 2d20 really quick and tell me what you get.
Big money, big money.
We will say
16.
that you get 16 diamonds, each of which is worth enough to be utilized in the method that you're hoping to use it.
Okay. Damn. Okay.
These are dwarves,
Good
right?
news
This
is-
this is a
The
citadel
good
of
news
dwarves.
is that I'll be. Now let's see if I can. Now my question is, can I actually use that many? Let me double check.
You might not have enough spell slots. But anyway, so as we are flying, Echo is going, speaking of spell slots, Echo is going to fly closer to Calder. He's on his own broom. And he will ask, do you still have that sending scroll?
Yes,
Can you use it while flying?
I can. Fine. Reaches into his back, pulls out scroll, begins casting. Who am I targeting?
Prosert. All of the circus went to Mirabar to be safe, and I would like to know where they are in the city so that we can get to them quickly. So my uncle Prosert, who you met before.
All right, tell me what you say. Starting now, you got 25 words.
This is Calder, Echo, and others. We are on the way. Where are you? In the city. We're flying in. Please respond.
That's well under 25, no problem.
Yep.
You will receive a response fairly quickly that says, I am in the Undercity. I am safe, but wounded. There are many still missing, including Camon.
Does Calder tell Echo all of what he
Yeah,
hears?
yeah.
Fuck. So not everybody got into the Undercity together.
Of course not.
And Echo's just going to be quietly worrying about that as they continue their flight.
Now, because this isn't just a private game and because this is a game in front of viewers, Gail, would you give me a quick
I'm trying to pull up my notes on it.
recap on who Camon is and why it might be interesting to Echo that he is missing?
One, he didn't know he had come to Mirabar. 'Cause if I'm remembering this correctly, Camon's not part of the circus. But Echo did send him a letter way back when asking about advice for fighting orcs, because Camon is Echo's half-orc boyfriend from Neverwinter. And he is of one of the splinter tribes from Many Arrows that stayed in the city in Neverwinter. And so, Echo wrote to him and his uncle way back when, but he'd only met his uncle who would come up to Mirabar. So the fact that he's even in the neighborhood is news.
Okay, I have good news and I have bad news.
Mm-hmm.
I can cast it 13 times.
Cast what 13 times?
Raise dead.
Damn.
We're going to be very selective.
Fuck, where the fuck is Thomas in all of this? Fucking Merryweather just took off like 2 days ago. Do you think he got caught in what happened in Mirabar?
I have a feeling he anticipated something like this was going to happen and wanted to go check in with the Harpers more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it was their teleportation circle that was in the city, so...
I don't know. I don't know what they're about. I'm not terribly impressed by their organization so far.
Ghost is now attuned to a very fashionable pair of boots of haste, and I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the mechanics of that just for a moment, because it's not an item that exists in 5th edition. I am pulling this item from 3.5. This is a set of boots that when you click the heels together as a bonus action, you are able to activate a haste spell on yourself for a maximum of 10 rounds per day. So when you take a long rest, they reset, but you can turn them on or off as you will without the exhaustion effect that often comes along with haste. Is Ghost attuned to them and wearing them now?
Yes.
Excellent. You didn't have 3 attuned items already, did you?
Ghost is checking my item.
I think your hammer is...
My hammer's an attunement item.
And nothing else? Yeah.
Awesome. So you've got them on, you look good, you feel good. We've had a lot of Echo and Calder talking. What is Ghost up to during this journey?
Ghost is honestly here for a ride, so I'm assuming that if Calder and Echo aren't having stress moments, aside from being like, look at my boots, look at how awesome they finally match, and yay! It's also gonna be like, okay, so there's like a big monster and we get to fight it, except in Ghost's voice right now, which I can't do.
That's fair.
I think we're all hoping that monster's not there. Its footprint was like the size of a building.
So it sounds like it would be a good fight, is what you're saying. It said it would be hard and difficult and incredibly fun.
So
Echo leans over to Calder. So is Ghost like suicidal? Or just does not, is he like a dog that doesn't understand how small he is?
We're not really ones to judge, as we are flying directly at the same monster just as suicidally for very different motivations. Our actions are the same.
Ghost doesn't hear what you said.
No, he purposely leans away.
It's something like, yeah, we could judge Ghost, but we're going the exact same direction to fight the same monster. So
Echoes are going to fight. Echo doesn't think the monster's still there.
Or
we would have seen it in like the big. That's his.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, we also thought we would see it on our approach of Mirabar, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah. So as we do the last leg and approach Mirabar from the sky, what do we see?
So I'm going to say, because you're approaching from the air, it is possible to see the footprints of this thing, and you can kind of sort of see its entry into the city, and it goes exactly as you think. It's like Godzilla in Tokyo. Like the Tarask stepped on the walls, knocked things over. You see some signs of struggle, but mostly it's just devastation. I'm going to need either a survival or perception roll from absolutely everybody in order to determine whether or not you can see exactly what's up. Please tell me your results because I'm not looking at the board.
21 survival.
Nat 20, 24 survival.
14.
So, Ghost and Echo, you're able to more or less trace, as you're flying around, the path of this creature. It's not subtle, right? It's not like it was trying to like cover its tracks or anything like that. It definitely originated like in the forest to the north of Mirabar, and you can see where it came from. It came from the edge of the forest. There are no tracks beyond that. So
Like
it didn't
instantly appeared.
It didn't come from anywhere. It simply was there. and it did its damage. And as you're looking, you realize there's more to this than just like picking things up and throwing them around. You see like what looks like scorch marks from a massive energy weapon. And again, where those scorch marks exist, there is more of the blighted vegetation sort of sprouting and spreading. And then
can we determine the flavor of damage that inflicted this effect?
I'm going to say it's force damage.
Okay.
And you also see something else that was large, some other or perhaps multiple creatures that were big in the city center, apparently engaged in some sort of delaying combat with this thing, but obviously did not succeed, and the footprints go back up towards the north, get back to the line of the forest, and then vanish. So
it did a big U through the city.
Kind of, basically. And as far as corpses are concerned, startlingly few that you can see, but yes, I'm not gonna get really detailed into description, but yes, I mean the devastation is complete. And
does it look like there was another force that hit the city, like the Tarrasque went through the walls and then something like a force of orcs and stuff followed him in, or just the Tarrasque was doing this damage?
So far as you can tell, the only thing that was dealing this damage was if this is what it was, Tarrasque.
Yeah. Okay, then Echo is going to start with the bodies that they are passing as they are looking at the route that this thing took through the city, is going to start trying to look for a half-orc, because there shouldn't be many half-orcs in the city if none of the orcs made their way here.
Okay. Sounds to me like you are trying to make an investigation check to find something, which I know is not your fort, as it were. But if you would be so kind as to roll that.
Can he guide himself as he is doing this?
Yes, I'm also willing to let someone else offer the aid action.
What are we looking for?
We're looking for a 7-foot tall half-orc, bald, green skin.
Okay, I will look for green. I will look for like your green or a different green.
It's like the worst Where's Waldo.
More blue green, like
more bluey
like
green.
aquamarine green.
Okay, I know blue.
Okay, so I have advantage and then guidance as well. Okay, so let's do investigation. Then go fuck me, guidance. More than a 10. That's an 11.
So you're flying over, and at first, as you're flying over, it's clear there's nobody up here. But I will say, though, you don't find Kemon. You do.
I think that's a good thing at this point.
You do begin to see mostly dwarves, but also others that are picking through the ruins, looking for wounded and looking for the dead. You are able to at least find the helpers, but no, you do not see anything of the person you're looking for.
Echo's going to take that as good news. And yeah, I guess we'll offer aid to the helpers that we come across. Like, I mean, Echo's not very good at moving like rubble and shit, but we have a very strong elf right here.
I will
This is worth the effect. Calder will cast a spell. He will cast telekinesis.
Okay.
And then I guess like as soon as he's done muttering the spell, he'll gesture at rubble, and like half a ton of rubble moves up and off.
Yeah. So Calder is able to begin to sort of lift things up, and yeah, I mean, it turns out there are survivors, there are wounded. It's not just instant death for everybody. Yeah. Calder, let's go ahead and get a perception or investigation check from you as well, as you're sort of looking for survivors.
I'll take the 19.
Not skidded on that one.
So I'll say that you are able to lift some very serious ruins off of folks that would not have been found otherwise. You find, admittedly, a great deal of corpses, but you also find a great deal of survivors. Who begin to sort of make their way out and are clearly utterly terrified. Now, the citizenry of Mirabar is mostly humans and dwarves, but also all sorts of others.
Calder probably looks like is like semi-floating off the ground, looking very much like my art. Like surrounded with horrifying black shadow tentacles, which like I'm imagining his telekinesis is like it's doing weird shit with the shadows, like the shadows are being lifted, and by association, the object that is associated to them is moving.
Are you telling me you came from Naruto?
As you move, like you lift up one of these sort of buildings and move it out of the way, you do find a cellar door that most likely leads down into the Undercity.
Yeah.
It's not the only one, but
Calder is in no mood to fuck around, so he'll just point at the door and move it.
The door comes off the hinges and flies in whatever direction Calder decides. And
just that way.
Okay, and like Echo helps pull the people out of whatever rubble has been cleared, and then as soon as like this immediate group of people has been like helped out of that spot of rubble, he's gonna feel really bad about it, but he's gonna make his way to that trap door and be like, I need to go find my family.
Go.
Go ahead.
Ghost will be picking things up and then putting them down in different places.
So long as you're taking them off people and putting them down on not people, I'm okay.
I mean, like, that's the goal, yes. I'm not smart, but yeah, I know how to do that.
Is Echo the only one that is descending into the Undercity, or is everybody going with him?
I feel like there was like a goal of clearing the nearby area, and as you make your way to the trapdoor.
Yeah, as soon as we have helped them like get the people out of the rubble of this particular building, then Echo is going to go down into the Undercity. So yeah, are y'all coming with?
Yeah, I'd follow.
I'll give somebody up there instructions of if you find another cluster of survivors, come down to we'll be in the Undercity. Find me.
If you need help moving more rubble, yeah. Okay, yeah. And Echo and Calder actually spent a decent amount of time in Mirabar in the downtime days before the last full moon. So I would assume we know the basic layout of the Undercity at this point.
Yeah. So you make your way down, and again, the Undercity of Mirabar is as big as Mirabar itself. And it seems like, with the exception of a few bits of rubble because of the earthquake level footsteps, this place seems to be more or less safe. And as you make your way through the Undercity, you can tell that it seems like a fairly large portion of the population was able to make their way down here. Normally, Mirabar and Mirabar's Undercity are kind of separate, right? The Undercity is pretty dwarven. The upper city is mostly humans and halflings. But like in times like this, obviously they open their doors, and there are a lot of survivors down here, to the point where it's kind of difficult to make your way around because it's very crowded down here. Now, I want to know what it is that you're looking for. I already know, but I want you to say it. What is it that you're looking for while you're down here, and how is it that you're going about looking for it?
So I think actually Echo pulls out the broom again and rises above the crowd to be able to look farther in directions. And as he is passing people who don't immediately like if it's just refugees, he's not going to bother them. But if he finds someone who looks like a city guard or someone who's organizing people, that sort of a thing, like he will stop and ask, like, there was a circus troupe that came to Mirabar a few days ago. Do you know where they are?
I would like you to make some sort of skill check for this, and I would like you to determine what you think the most appropriate check would be.
He's trying to be cool and calm while he's asking them this, so I guess persuasion.
Works for me.
I figure my action will be more a follow-up.
So I'm gonna pause. Echo, you got a 19 on that. Calder, you say you're doing some more follow-up. What is it that Calder is doing in this crowd of I guess refugees?
Finding someone who looks like they're in charge.
I would like you to go ahead and also make a skill check, and I will let you decide what you think the most appropriate one would be. An intimidation.
20.
Nice.
Intimidation.
Nice.
The intimidation is going to come into the form of, oh, there's the person in charge. Like, sit on broom, like, near Echo, point at dude, and just make a beckoning gesture and telekinetically yank him toward me.
So yeah, between the two of you, you're able to find someone who has been kind of like organizing the refugees and making sure that everyone gets to a safe place. And we're going to say that it is a human guard named, let's say...
His name is Bone Wolf.
No, he's not a bone wolf. Not
They're
this
everywhere.
time. Not this
He's
time.
gotta be a bone wolf now. You said it. He has to be a bone wolf now.
I hate all of you. Okay, so this is Jeffrey Bone Wolf,
Fair enough.
the distant cousin of Kevin Bone Wolf, and the reason you were able to recognize that this was a man that was in charge is that for a moment you're like, wait, is that Kevin? And it wasn't Kevin, but it's definitely someone who is maneuvering people around. And you grab him telekinetically, and you pull him, and he, like, looking around, pulls his sword.
No, he doesn't. He's restrained.
He attempts to pull his sword, but cannot. Tell me a little bit about what happens now that you have this innocent city guard in your captivity.
Would you be willing to answer our questions? That is not a request.
Do I have a choice?
We
You
just
said
need
that
to...
they're not-
Yes, but I would not recommend refusing.
Who in the blue hell are you?
I am Calder Creed Cheval.
I'm making a history check.
Does the
I'm
bone wolf
making a
give a
history
crap?
check.
That's fair.
Yeah. So your name is not unknown in these parts, as it were. And you're able to convince him that despite the fact that you're holding him with telekinetic magical ropes of energy, that you are not an enemy. You are here to help, or at least you're here to do something.
If I were an enemy, he would be dead.
What is it that you request of him?
There was a circus troupe that came through here some days ago. Where are they?
And
it was a bunch of unusual people, half orcs, goblins.
this is Mirabar. We're all unusual here, but yes, I know who you speak of. They took casualties, but they were among the first to make their way down into the Undercity, and you can find them, and he'll give you some directions to like an old, lately unused barracks of the dwarves that live down here.
Echo
Very well.
thanks him profusely, and
Thank you for your service. I will ensure that you are properly compensated by your troop commander, and I will put him back right where he was.
Wait, but you don't know who I am?
we recognize the cut of
those-
that chin.
Ghost is gonna go up to. It's nice to meet you. I'm very sorry about your cousin or brother or sibling or something, Kevin. He's having a bad time, but it's okay. He's a werewolf now, and we'll leave.
Wait, you know Kevin? He's a what?
And no,
Flying
I'm
away.
already gone.
Just coasting through the low ceiling on our way to the next chamber.
It's fairly high ceilinged in here, I asked.
Okay.
The Undercity has just as much like it's got like 30 and 40-foot high ceilings.
Yeah, it's got a pretty high clearance rate.
Oh,
Flying through is
It's
possible.
an appropriate. It is an appropriate dwarven hall.
So yeah, following the directions to the old barracks.
So I'd like you, Gail, to tell me a little bit about your first meeting with Prasert. He is when you see him, when you get to him, his face and his neck and his chest are covered in dried blood. And he has clearly been helping those in need, right? He's been setting up triage and he's been moving people to where they need to be. I'd like you to tell me a little bit about what it looks like when Echo meets him for the first time.
I think as soon as like they round whatever corner or whatever building was blocking line of sight, as soon as he gets visual on his uncle, he is shouting his name as loud as he can and like urging his broom to go. So like he'll use key points and step of the wind and fucking zoom towards him.
Oh, so that's what speed 180 looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out that when you've got now Pracer is a very large and bulky orc, half orc. But Echo, despite being very small, has a great deal of momentum. And
he spots the blood and does not like tackle hug into his uncle, but he will weird monk flip off of the broom down in front of him and just like, I think he might be half panicking, so he's casting like Spare the Dying on him as soon as he's like within touch range, even though it's pretty obvious that like Prasert's up and walking and like doesn't need that, but like Echo is in panic mode.
And the moment he sees you, Prasert's response is, "Oh, thank the gods, thank the gods."
Are you okay?
We thought that this thing, we thought that you had been. And he stops what he's doing, and he like because you're so short next to him, he sort of falls to his knees beside you, and pulls you up into a hug and says, "We thought you were lost."
I'm okay. It was a long battle, but it was nothing like this. Nothing like what came through here. It was Echo's.
This was
like,
no battle.
Back to
This
see
this was no battle.
No, it was the giant creature came tearing through the city. Calder knows what it's called. Calder?
Now, like coasting, did not accelerate beyond a speed of 60, but
he knows kind of what the thing might have been.
it's large. Its name is largely irrelevant. It was big. It had spiked. It was big. It had spikes along a carapace and massive claws and teeth. But it had no wings. It was no dragon.
No, it did not. It was. Words cannot describe.
As big as a great horn.
Words cannot describe what it was that came upon us, but we're safe thanks to something. We saw it approaching the city, and there was just nothing. There was no one to challenge it. And we began to evacuate into the Undercity immediately, but someone's rose to challenge it. The memory is so faded now. It's so blurry. But I recall a massive human with a hammer and an owl, like a giant bipedal. You've seen owl bears, yes?
Mm-hmm.
That, except so large, dwarfing everything except for the creature itself, that stepped forward and distracted the creature long enough for us to get away. I don't know what happened to it.
Where are your dead?
At the mention of hammer, Echo looks at at Ghost real quick, like.
No, I don't get bigger. I am always this size. I have never been smaller, I don't think.
Our dead have been gathered together.
Wait. Is everyone from the troop okay? Did you all make it? You said you all headed here really quick, right?
There are those who perished. We did not all make it down here.
Show me.
And he'll sort of escort you into a side room where there are Gale. Mm-hmm. You're the one who has the background of these folks. I would like you to go ahead and describe to me one or two of those that did not make it through the combat.
Well, you mentioned when they were first here that a lot of the goblins, not the children, but the adult goblins that had joined the troop had come with Pursuit North. So I would think it might be at least one of them. And I'm searching through my notes real quick for it. We didn't name anyone else that was in the that had come north with the troop. So I think it might be two of the goblins from the Sunless Citadel that were trying their hand at being circus folk.
As well as an assortment of guards and others. I'm going to say there's a good solid 6 or 7 dead from the troop in this room.
Echo?
Yeah.
What happens next is not your fault. I'm going to then Calder is going to cast Raise Dead on everyone here in blocks of 2. He will be using twin magic to get 2 people per diamond.
Now, Raise Dead is a minute cast, I think.
Yep, I believe so.
I'm gonna pull up the spell really quick.
Raise Dead. Mm-hmm. Casting time 1 hour.
It is a 1 hour spell. So is Calder going to spend what 3-4 hours casting magic?
Oh, I could do something funny.
I'm listening.
No, I can't. Never mind, I can't do it. So I'm just gonna. Yeah, he will touch them, close his eyes, and then when he opens them, he starts streaming tremendous amounts of black energy.
An hour is a long time. Ghost and Echo, what are you up to while this is happening?
I think he would, or Em, do you have an idea first?
Oh, I know what Ghost is doing.
Echo would ask Pursuit what he meant by come on being here. Like, he didn't come up with the circus, but he was in Mirabar? What do you mean? Where did you last see him?
I met him in a tavern before the attack. He came because he believed that you might need his help. And he didn't know where to find you, so he seeked me out. Once he knew that I and mine were in town, and he asked me where you could be found, and I told him, I said that you were to the north, and that I told him that you were beyond his assistance. I told him that he
I
should
love the guy,
stay.
but he's a fisherman. What does he think he's gonna do here?
He's always been headstrong, and you know this. It's part of what brought the two of you together, yes?
Yeah, but so he might not have even been in the city still when all this went down.
I have not seen him since. I don't know. He may be among the wounded. Gods forbid he may be among the dead. But I have not seen him since.
Echo kind of just takes that in.
Ghost, what are you doing?
Ghost is gonna like watch that happen. Is going to like pat gently, in his mind, Echo on the back, and go, well, we can still go look. I am looking for someone. If you want to help with that, then maybe keep your head off of that problem, or maybe do like a little bit of recon for both.
Who are you looking for?
So Gallic and Thorn were headed in this direction.
Ah, fuck.
And I don't know if they got here or if they didn't come here, because we split up and then they went in a different direction. They said maybe we will go to Mirabar. I don't know. There are lots of cities in that direction, and I could always use the work in a populated area. So I figure we're already here. I can see if they made it. This is a problem. Maybe they survived. Maybe they didn't. Either way, I figured I'd look.
Okay, yeah, we can. I think Calder's going to be a little bit. I've channeled magic like that before. It's.
Cut to the room. Calder's like streaming black power out of his mouth.
Well, Echo will run back into the room real quick. Cast guidance on Calder for. It's not going to help anything, but just because he feels like he wants to do something, and give him a kiss on the side of his head and saying, "Ghost and I are going to go check things. We'll be back."
To be clear, as you do this and you begin to leave the room, people are gathering. And people are seeing this thing that Calder is doing, and fear begins to sort of, like a murmur of fear, sort of begins to suffuse the crowd. And it seems like what is this creature doing to our dead? What is happening here? And it looks very much like fear is going to turn to violence very quickly. Like, they've been through so much, and now this person, this creature, is doing something to their dead.
Nomani will become in the way.
Yeah?
No, Nomani will move incorporeally to in the way.
Like at Calder's back.
I will be in the doorway suddenly out of nowhere and be flickering semi-transparent. And I will look at them and I will go, hello, hi, yes, this is not a show because you did not pay the ticket price. So you need to leave. All right, okay, we got that. Like, back up, thank you, back up. I have a big hammer. Is go on. And if you talk shit, I will use that hammer. I will not otherwise use that hammer. Back up, you got it. You can also pay money. That is an option.
Give me an intimidation check, and this is going to be a fairly high DC.
I was going to say that Echo seeing this, not directly where they are, but like in the ceiling a little bit back, he's going to cast Thaumaturgy to do some light quaking to kind of make these people like not want to hang out in this spot.
I'm gonna inspiration.
Okay.
What about... Nice.
25.
So I'm going to say that, Ghost, you're able to cow them for the moment. But, like, threatening people is useful to a certain degree, but when they feel like their dead are being defiled, like, your solution is temporary at best. Yes, you managed to get them to back off several steps with your giant fuck all hammer. But
no, I am not using the hammer as a justification. I am stating that I have one. I am also a ghost.
Yeah. So they back off for a bit, but also like it's clear that these folks don't trust you. They don't trust whatever that shadow creature is doing to their dead, and like they're beginning to talk to each other and trying to sort of build each other up into a mob. You've managed to back them off temporarily, but you're not. This is not an hour's worth of backing them off.
I think Echo is going to, now that there's a bit of a space and people have taken a step back and are starting to build again the momentum, Echo is going to step in and fuck it, it'll be a bit of contrast to the shadow. He's going to activate his tattoos so that he is shining and giving off dim light. And he's going to say, this is all healing magic. What? Dealing with the dead, dealing with the living. I can help anybody who needs it. Is anybody injured? Come forth. Like he's trying to play up the cleric angle.
That sounds like a persuasion check to me. Or if you've got some other check that you think would be relevant, I would be willing to entertain that.
Like performance, he's trying to play the part of like, literally look at me glowing with holy energy, let me help you.
I think performance is appropriate, yeah. A 17, okay. Someone like so everyone will back up and they all kind of look at each other, and again, this to them obviously very evil ritual is happening behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at you and they're looking at it, and there's a murmur in the crowd, and one of them will walk forward with a small child in his arms, and will say, my son is very injured. He may not recover. Can you help him?
Yes, and Echo, in the hopes of he will lean forward and just put his hands on this kid and cast Cure Wounds on it. And he will invite anybody else who has injuries to come and sit with him as he does a ritual to heal them, and will start doing a prayer of healing.
Now that gets people on board.
Like he'll spend spell slots to get this mob to not be a mob.
Now that gets people to realize that there are some things beyond their ken, and that you may actually be there to help. Watching you restore this child, it does what no amount of words could possibly do alone. And it allows you to keep them away until Calder's spell is complete. Now
the caveat is they have to be willing, and Calder, because if they're some of the Citadel goblins, Calder knows them. Calder has helped the rest of their tribe.
Yes, and I will say that the two of them, because you said you twinned this, right?
Yes.
So I will say that the two of them accept the Raise Dead spell. And though they are still severely injured, right? The Raise Dead spell does not restore all things.
Well, about that. It restores a lot.
Yeah, it neutralizes.
Poison cures non-magical disease that affected at the time when it died. It does not, however, remove magical diseases, curses, or similar effects. If these aren't removed before casting the spell, they take effect when the creature returns to life. The spell cannot return undead creatures to life.
Closes all mortal wounds.
The spell closes all mortal wounds, but
but
it does not restore missing body parts. And if the creature is lacking body parts or organs that are integral to its survival, such as its head, the spell automatically fails.
That is not the case here. So yes, you are able to knit their bodies together and return their souls to their forms, and they stand.
They will come back with 1 HP and exhausted.
Yeah.
They're a -4 penalty to attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. After they finish a long rest, the penalty is reduced by 1 until it disappears.
And when you finish casting the spell and these goblins return to life, there is an audible gasp over the crowd. And not everyone can see, right? There's a lot of whispering happening because
Ghost
you're in a room. Ghost is in the way. But
Calder, it's like, hey, yes, that was real. Yes, you saw me in the afterlife, and yes, you're alive again. You're also going to be very tired for the next few days. I recommend getting a lot of sleep, resting, and for the love of God, don't go out. Do not, for instance, get in the way of large rubble or big monsters.
And those that you restored to life are unable to even really speak at this time. Like, they just went through a lot. But
I give them each a hug.
But the crowd in front of Ghost begins to come forward again, but instead of in anger, it's now, my father was killed by the creature. Can you bring him back? My brother was taken and he was crushed under the rubble. Can you please restore him to life? Can you help me? Can you help us? And just
is going to step in.
Begin, just like an overflow. Like, everyone moves forward, like it's almost like a concert when the headliner comes up. Everyone begins to move forward, like everyone has lost someone, and everyone is like, can you please? You can bring life to the dead. Can you save my cousin? Can you save my boyfriend? Can you save my wife?
Calder will slam his shadow staff into the ground and shout, "Quiet!"
And what's Ghost up to?
Ghost is going to shut the door behind him. So he's on the outside and everybody else is in a shut door.
And Calder slams the staff against the ground. There's a reverberating echo around the room, and then the door closes.
Mm-hmm. And Ghost is going to look at the crowd and goes, "Do you not have clerics where you are from?"
This is very powerful magic. It is
right. Ghost is outside the room talking to the crowd, and Calder is on the inside.
Yeah,
of the room.
Calder is theoretically inside the room at this point with the resurrected goblins.
I guess he's just gonna go, "Sure, you two sleep," and he'll just like move on to the next two, rubbing his hands together. Okay, starting it again.
Yeah, Ghost is gonna go, "I should have done that like half an hour ago, guys. People are getting a free show." And he's going to like look at them and he's going to, "Do you not have clerics where you are from? Do you not understand how holy people work? You have seen something. Yes, there was a dark, spooky light, but that's normal for some people, okay? Now, if you want to have, your boyfriends and your husbands and stuff resurrected, you need to also talk to clerics and priests of a church. Go find them. I will help if you need it. But this one has been contracted for these people already, and his magic is spoken for now. After today, we will see what we can do. However, there are probably priests and clerics around here that we can get for your people as well. So let us look for that instead." And he's going to start like ushering the crowd out.
I want to do a quick retcon. This is actually going to go attached to the YouTube video from last session. And at the end of last session, Ghost attempted with both hammer and loud voice to intimidate the crowd that was gathering around this miracle worker who just brought to life a couple of the circus folk and is in the process of bringing to life two more. And they began to sort of crowd around and demand that their friends and family members be resurrected as well. And instead of failing that intimidation check as happened in the original footage, instead this succeeds, and they all grumble a little bit but begin to go about on their way, going, "I wish I had the kind of gold that I could hire someone to raise my family from the dead." And just kind of being generally grumbly and moving on about their business rather than anything else.
Doing this for money.
No, we told them that you were, though.
Yeah,
So
Ghost used that.
Rush you.
Your lies are not my responsibility.
No, you're busy casting a spell.
So
we're busy saving your ass from a mob.
So remind me. So Ghost will chase off the looky-loos, and then we'll come back into the room where Calder is currently channeling just the shadowiest, darkest, evilest looking magic into the bodies of two more dead folks. Where's Echo at? Is Echo in the room there, or is Echo somewhere else?